So for problem number 3, the track for this racing event was designed so that riders jump off the slope at 30 degrees. Okay, so ang motion sa kuananing projectile is 30 degrees from a height of 1 meters. During a race, it was observed that the rider shown below remained in mid-air for 1.5 seconds. Okay, so atong slope, motion sa projectile is inclined at 30 degrees. Night time dimension, 1.5 seconds. Rider below remain in mid-air for 1.5 seconds. So from here to here, that is 1.5 seconds. Determine the speed that he was traveling off the ramp. So speed at when he was traveling off the ramp. So we were asked the initial velocity. Okay. The horizontal distance he travels before striking the ground. This is R, the range. And the maximum height he attains. So this one, H. Neglect the size of the bike and the rider. Since naman tay 2 points no nga gi-mention diri, this is our origin, is na A, then natay B. So ato na lang i-ngalan ning initial velocity as VA, and here na VB. So from the origin downward, this is negative 1 meter. Since this is the origin, then inaog og 1 meter, okay? So let's solve. So natay lima again ka equation. So this one VOXT, Vy is equal to VOY minus GT, y is equal to, so y naught plus VOYT minus 1 half GT squared, and then Vy squared is equal to VOY squared minus 2G minus y naught. So unsa itong magamit aning equation? So unknown ang velocity, di nato ni magamit. This one, known si time, but unknown ang velocity again. We know that this is 0, but we don't know x or this one, r. Also in this equation, we know the gravitational acceleration. We don't know the time. So naidwa ka unknown, not this one. Unknown ang time, unknown ang velocity. That is, so we cannot use this one. Second equation, the vertical distance traveled of the this one, y. So from the origin, natay paingon diri, so travel siya negative 1, so we have this. The initial height here, that is 0 from the origin, because this is the origin. We don't have the BOY, this is unknown. The time, we have the time, so the time here is known di. So we have the time dito no, 1.5 seconds minus 1 half times GT squared. So we only have one unknown, then therefore we can use this equation. So itong first thing na ma-solve is ang speed. Speed at which is traveling off the ramp, the initial speed. So y is equal to y naught plus VOYT minus 1 half GT squared. So in this problem, the y is from here to here. So that is negative 1. Cos initial y, 0. Plus ang VOY or VA, VAY. So VAY. Times the time nga 1.5 seconds. Minus 1 half. Since 1 meter ang gigamit nga unit, this is SI. So we use 9.81 meters. Times the time is the square of the time. So we have here negative 1 is equal to 1.5 VAY minus 11.03625. Simplifying, 1.5 VAY is equal to negative 11.03625. Sorry, this is already positive. Okay, na-transpose na. and then minus 1. 1.5 VAY is equal to, which is equal to 10.03625 divided by 1.5. Our initial velocity along the vertical component is equal to 6.6908 meters per seconds. But since we were asked about the speed, not along the x or along the y or along the horizontal vertical component, the initial speed, so ato ang isolve ang initial speed, this one. So di ba kabulota nga VAY is equal to VA velocity, initial velocity times sine of the angle. Ang angle is 30 degrees, so we use 30 degrees. So to solve for the initial velocity, we have BAY over sine 30. VAY is 6.6908 over sine 30. So our initial speed is equal to 13.3816 meters per seconds. Okay, so we're asked the speed, the range, and this one the maximum height. So we already have the speed. Next is the R, the range. So we have the time. We can solve for the v of x. We have the initial position at x. So we can solve now for the range using this equation. So R is equal to the initial position plus v of x times time. So initial position is 0 plus r v of x. Is this one VA times kuan? So we have 13.3816. Then since along x man, so times cosine 30 times time 1.5 seconds. And we have a range of ang total distance traveled is 17.383 meters. So lastly, ang h na pod ang ato ang isolve. Okay, I'll use another paper. Okay, kani si y. So saan man ni nato pag-solve? So akong i-draw. So this one. So from this origin down, this is negative 1 meter. And then 30 degrees inclination. Remove siya. Until nihunong siya. This is point A, point B. Total time niya sa move is 1.5 seconds. Initial velocity is equal to 13.3816 meters per seconds. So saan na ito pag-solve the highest point, yung highest na height. So ato gyud pong gamiton si katong vertical component y is equal to y naught plus VOY t minus 1 half gt squared. Let's check. You have the initial position 0. You have the VOY and the time. We don't know the time, so this is unknown. You have G, don't know the time, but we still don't know still the Y. So two unknowns. Therefore, we cannot use this equation. So let's try Vy is equal to VOY minus GT. We know the initial. We know the gravity. We know this one, the velocity of along y from starting point to this point. Therefore, we can solve for the time from this point to this point. Okay. So again, our initial velocity along y, so VOY, so is equal to VO sine 30, which is equal to 6.6908 meters per seconds. Our gravitational acceleration 9.81. So pila si Vy at this point. So di ba? Ato ang velocity horizontal component along x remains the same along siyang motion. But at this point, sa masong giingon di ba nga pag if you throw an object either upward maski pag incline, moabot ang time nga muundang na siya pagsaka, mo zero ang velocity, and then mo change iyang direction panaog na dayon. So the velocity y at this point is equal to 0, and this is the maximum height nga na-reach na niya. So this is 0. So substituting in this equation, 0 is equal to VOY 6.6908 minus 9.81 meters per seconds t. So 9.81 t is equal to 6.6908. We can get the time is equal to 0.682 seconds. It's not yet the answer, but we have the time. Since na naman tayo time na solve, we can use this equation. So, y is equal to y naught plus VOY t minus 1/2 gt squared was to our initial y, 0, plus our VOY, 6.6908 times time, 0.682 minus 1/2, 9.81 meters per second squared times 0.682 squared. We have y is equal to 6.69. 0.831 meters. But this is not yet the answer. If you remember, ang y is from this to here. This is the y. So, ang total height di ay niya is 1 meter plus y. So, 1 meter plus 0.831. So, at yung total height reached is just equal to 1.831 meters. Oh, but okay. But I have a problem here. I forgot to square this last term. So, if we solve it again, 6.6908 times 0.682 minus 1/2, 0.5 times 9.81 times 0.682 squared. We can solve that y is not equal to 0.831, but y is equal to 2.282 meters. Okay. So, if we substitute it here, 1 plus y, so 1 plus this one, then our total height is equal to 3.282 meters.